We are at the Escorial, about 60 kilometers outside of Madrid, in the mountains and overlooking this unique place. The Escorial is the largest Renaissance structure in the world. It is a world unto itself, and in a way that's fitting because it was the seat of power of the most powerful person and family in the world in the 16th century. This is the palace built by Philip II, King of Spain and King of much of the world, in fact. And the Escorial was built at the end of the 16th century as the palace for Philip II, but much more than the palace, really an enclosed world. In the Escorial, we have the royal household, the palace where Philip II lived, but we also have a magnificent church that you can see, which was the private church for Philip II. We have a Renaissance library that is absolutely spectacular, a monastery in the compound of the Escorial, and art and art and art of the Renaissance. We have Titians and Veronese and Tintoretto and Hieronymus Bosch and Velázquez and others, because this was the high Renaissance. And Philip II was the most powerful ruler in the world. That helps us to understand the Escorial, and the Escorial helps us to understand the world of Philip II. We need to start back some decades before the building of the Escorial, indeed to the middle of the 15th century. Arguably, the period from 1450 to 1550 was one of the periods of greatest change in all of world history. We moved from the classical age to a new global age in that 100 years. And that 100 years involved more fundamental change than just about any 100 years in all of human history and human experience. There were technological advances that were of fundamental significance. Gutenberg's printing press with movable type changed the world of knowledge by enabling books to be printed and available at low cost. The technology of ocean navigation advanced so decisively that two great events occurred at the end of the 15th century. Columbus's voyage to the Americas, the discovery of America by the Europeans by sea route, and Vasco da Gama's navigation around the Cape of Good Hope, the southern tip of Africa, to India. The first, Columbus's voyage in 1492, Vasco da Gama's voyage in 1498. We should recall what Adam Smith, the father of modern economics, the great British economist, said of those two events. He said that the discovery of America and the sea route around the Cape of Good Hope to the East Indies were the two most significant and important events in the history of mankind. But the printing press and the discovery of the sea routes to the Americas and to the East, to Asia, were only part of the drama of that 100-year period. Because in addition to those changes came cataclysmic, decisive changes in world politics and in world beliefs. In 1453, the Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, reached its demise when the Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople and turned Constantinople into the capital of the Ottoman Empire, known to us today, of course, as Istanbul. That led to a massive flight of scholars from the Greek Byzantine Empire who came to the universities of Italy and infused a new knowledge, a new classical knowledge that was a major current in the emergence of the High Renaissance, which emerged at the end of the 15th century and the early 16th century. The competition between the Ottoman Turks and Christendom of Europe would continue for centuries after that decisive event. The Renaissance burst forward at the end of the 15th century, propelled also by these new discoveries of the Americas and the connections between Europe and Asia, propelled by the new awakening of knowledge about ancient Greek culture, propelled by the interest and the patronage of the popes in classical knowledge and classical learning, including the construction of the new Basilica of St. Peter's and the bringing the greatest artists of the age, including Michelangelo, to paint the Sistine Chapel and Leonardo to paint the apartments of the Pope and the great rooms where Raphael painted the School of Athens and made the links of the Catholic Church with the great classical knowledge of Greece, meaning new links of ancient knowledge and modern knowledge. And the 1510s even accelerated this transformation in one amazing intellectual event after another. It was in the 1510s that Copernicus first circulated his notions of a heliocentric universe, overturning the Church's understanding and Ptolemy's understanding of an Earth-centric universe. It was in the 1510s that Machiavelli gave a new vision of politics with his Prince, almost a job application to the Medicis, showing how the princes could maintain power. It was in the 1510s that Thomas More presented us with Utopia, a no place in the meaning of the title, but a vision of what an ideal society would be, and one of the most powerful texts, certainly since Plato's Republic, in helping to think through how we should design society for human needs. So in this short period of time from the 1450s to 1515, these monumental changes. Then in 1517, Martin Luther posted his 95 Theses on the church door in Wittenberg and began the Protestant Reformation and the overturning of the unity of Western Christendom. And that set Europe afire, literally and figuratively, for centuries to come. Well, that was a tumultuous period that overturned the traditions, the inherited knowledge, and the power structures of European politics and world politics. And remarkably, in this period, in this tumult, world power fell more than ever before in history into the hands of one dynasty, one family, and, in fact, one individual. The Habsburgs had become the rulers of the Holy Roman Empire continuously since the 1440s. And they aimed through very strategic marriages to expand their realm. Maximilian I, at the end of the 15th century, made two marriage arrangements that proved to be transformative. One was his own, to marry into the house with the House of Burgundy, and thereby the Habsburgs soon became the kings of the Low Countries, today's Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. And the other strategic marriage was the marriage of Maximilian's son, Philip, known as Philip the Handsome, to the daughter of the King and Queen of Spain, of Isabella and Ferdinand of Spain, Joanna. And the marriage of Joanna and Philip, it turned out, it was an accident that all the other potential heirs of Spain died first. It turned out that the child of Philip and Juana, or Joanna, of Castile was Charles V. So by the time Charles V was born, he became the inheritor of much of the European world, because now Charles V would become the Holy Roman Emperor, the holder of the vast kingdoms of Bohemia, of Hungary, the Archduke of Austria, the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire and all of the German lands, the king over the Low Countries, and the King of Spain. And becoming King of Spain also meant becoming King of New Spain in the New World, because with Columbus's discoveries came the new Spanish Empire of the Americas. By 1520, Hernán Cortés was conquering the Aztec kingdom in Mexico and becoming the ruler of New Spain in Mexico. And soon after that, Pizarro would conquer the Aztecs in the Andean lands, and that would create the new viceroy of Peru, the new holdings of South America, of the Habsburg lands. So within one set of hands, Charles was now the ruler of much of the world, the first truly global transoceanic ruler, and the domains of Charles extended to Asia as well, because with the Spanish conquests in the Philippines and elsewhere in Asia, Spain's empire was truly the first empire in the history of the world on which the sun never set.